Magna, that was beautiful. Can we get another round of applause for PwC and Magna and Allison? Okay, now I'm gonna start to cry, though. I don't have the script. My name is Mai Ton, and I am so excited to be here with you today. The funny fact about me is I actually used to work at PwC, so this is like a full cycle moment for me. So it's wonderful to be in these hallways. I am one of 6 of the founding members of AABDC, what we're calling WIN. WIN stands for Women's Initiative Network, and it's because we wanted to build a community to help each other out. Every story that we heard seemed to touch upon what Magna had said, just like feeling like the only one in the room, or feeling like you had to shrink yourself in order to fit in. And we want to bust that, because that's not who we are. We want your authentic self, and in order to do that, we said we have to get together and try to build the community that doesn't exist yet. So we appreciate all of you being here today. I know the last 2 days were nice and springy, and all of a sudden we got rain today, so it's okay, the show will go on. And we're exceptionally excited, and thank you to PwC for hosting us in this beautiful space. So shout out to PwC and the team here again, please. And Soleil, can you, the slideshow's not working properly in part of the rain, but what we did was we've been working behind the scenes for 4 to 5 months now. We've actually launched surveys, we've hosted focus groups, and we landed on our mission statement of collaborating, growing, and leading so that we can propel each other. And this is about providing resources, support, and opportunities to do this together so you don't have to feel alone. Next slide for me, Soleil. Oh, okay. So what we've heard, and thank you to those who participated, but what we've heard is that communication development and advancement are particularly interesting for a lot of Asian American folks. Under communication, you talked about branding and self-promotion. Kind of our roots of being humble don't serve us well sometimes in corporate America. In the development phase, you talked about how life changes and your transitions through your personal life may not align to your professional ambitions, so we want to help you through that. And then the advancement phase is every company has it. It may be called politics, it may be called something else, but every company has some version of friction that you face as you try to advance in your career. So we're going to try to tackle all of these in our programming that you're going to hear from, but today's our launch. So we're out of beta. You're seeing us in the raw, in the flesh, and we're excited to be here in front of you. Next slide. This is your founding team. So Maria Badali, she's always been behind AABDC. Evelyn and Soleil as well. The funny thing about the 3 of them is they sometimes prefer the back of the room, as in backstage, doing things behind the scenes. You don't see them as often in the front, but we're going to make that change a little bit, and you'll see them more often. Today you're also going to hear from Idil, Cakim, who is going to talk to us about AI and some of the trends that they found around women's use of AI in particular. And Nita Kohli is going to moderate our panel today about celebrating our stories, celebrating you and some of the resilience and the success that we've had together. So this is your founding team. Next slide. We have a full agenda. So that's why it became a half-day event, because we were trying to do so much as part of our inauguration. But the panel discussion happens after this, then we take a break, then you're going to hear from me again as I talk to you about branding. And fun fact again, I learned that branding trick here at PwC. So it's really weird how the universe works. The innovation around AI and the spotlight around the research that Idil and Samantha have done, very fascinating. Closing remarks, you're going to hear from Share Cancer, who's also here with us today, and then we're going to have networking. So lots to get through, and I wanted each one of our founding members to talk about why we're doing this work. So this is a grainy picture of me on an executive team. Like, I don't know if that's normal to you. It was normal to me for most of my life. I've been the HR leader of 15 companies, 10 of them were startups. And this was the room that I was in. This was a picture of an all-company meeting where we were all on stage. You could ask us anything. But it wasn't until my daughter, Emma, who was 7 years old at the time, asked me when she saw this picture, she asked me, "Mommy, why do you work with a bunch of men?" And it was that moment where I got so used to working like this that I didn't recognize that I was the outsider. You can't see it here, but everybody in this photo is like 6'2" and up, so they're really tall. They all, for some reason, had blonde hair. Like, I'm the one with dark hair, I'm barely 5 feet, and I'm an immigrant, Asian, and everything that Meghna had discussed earlier. So the reason why I'm up here in front of you is because I've got to change the room for Emma. Her generation cannot sit through this. It's not good for them, and it makes them actually question their worth, their value, and whether or not they're in the right place. And that was never a good feeling for me, so I want to change the rooms for Emma. So I'm going to turn the microphone over to Idil, who's going to talk about, or is it Nita?
Yeah,
Nita.
apparently so. Well, that's a wonderful story. And, you know, firstly, thank you all for being here, and happy Women's History Month. So this story is, I'd love to say it's me climbing, but I really can't do that. I can just about stand up on 2 feet, but that's a whole other story. But look, I've spent my career in corporate for almost 3 decades, so yes, I'm showing my age. But one of the things I've noticed through corporate, which was really the trigger for me, really putting this forward and getting involved and working with May and the team to get this initiative off the ground, was it's hard. It's really hard in corporate. Have you ever thought about the times when you think back in your career and think, if something was different, my whole career trajectory may have been very different? And I ask you to think about that. What sort of help or support may have really facilitated that change? Let's think about that, because for many years, I'll be very transparent, for almost like 25 years of work, I felt like I was that person on the left-hand side, climbing that mountain alone. And it's lonely at the top, it's challenging, and it's easier to fall, right? But what we've learned is more and more, the one thing that no one ever told me, it's good to network and good to build those alliances, because as Asians, we work in very high expectation environments where we think, oh, credibility is our work. We're not told to network. But it speaks volumes, the picture on the right, because there really is no I in team. And when you get to that top of the mountain, helping others up, there's room at the top for everyone. And you can come back down easily and leave others at the top. But that is so compelling to me, because it's a story that really resonates with me, that we really need to change this, because I'm not sure it's really got much better. If you think about 3 decades of time and where we are today, it's still a hard mountain to climb. So if anything, this is a community, and I just ask you all to open your doors. I was guilty of maybe not helping other females when I was sort of progressing through my career, but I've realised, and it's not through anything else, but I've realised it's important to help each other, and we need to build that network of trust, because you can't just help people overnight, but forge those relationships. Here's a lovely room of highly professional, qualified leaders. Connect with them and forge those bonds, so you can maybe open the door to someone behind you and help them up that mountain. That's what it's all about for generations that follow us. Thank you. And now it's over to Idil.
Well, I'll be very brief. When they asked me my why of joining, of course I gave the most linear response that I could think. I was just so excited that my research was being put to use. And then that's the joke side of it, because as a researcher, you rarely see your work applied after you leave. So this gave me an opportunity to see it come to life. But more importantly, as we started working together with Nita, with Mai, with Soleil, Evelyn, yes, no, I'd be in pieces without you, don't you worry. I would never forget that. There's something different that happens when women work together. And when you're working in an environment that's more likely to be female than even mixed gender, or more male than female, women operate differently. This has been scientifically proven. Women operate differently when they're in all-female groups. And I think there's that apply. I used to think that was just college level, because I went to an all-women's college, and we were always primed, to be aware of gender differences and to make sure that we had the stamina to stand for ourselves, and we were primed and prepared for that. But the more I've worked at different companies, entered different rooms and meetings, I've realized that it still carries through, no matter which stage of life you are, which professional level you are. You still need your network. You still need your support group. It's not a given. So it's wonderful to put a stake in the ground and say, here's a forum of shared space, of safe space, where we can learn from each other, where we can raise our hands and not worry about how we're going to come across. And I just want to pay homage to this wonderful community, because I've been coming into your events, and I've been coming into AABDC space for the last few years, and it's just a very unique group. I can say that as someone who's joining in after. It's an incredible group of wise people, humble people, irrespective of their accomplishments, and that is not so common. It's a virtue in itself, and it's wonderful to be in a setting where that gets shared.